You drink coffee? Do you drink coffee? You know, when you go to make coffee, right, there's something that you have to do unless you use those nifty little cup thingers, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about making coffee the old-fashioned way, right? You put the water in the coffee machine and you put something in a basket before you dump the coffee. What's that thing you put in the basket before you put the coffee in? You remember what that thing's called? It's called a filter, right? And what's a filter designed to do? It's designed to keep out that which you don't want in the coffee, which it would be the coffee grounds, right? So you don't want the grounds in the coffee. You want the filtered liquid. You don't want the grounds. So you put a filter in there to separate the grounds from the liquid. The filter does its job. Your coffee looks a certain way, tastes a certain way, appears a certain way, and only has certain things in it. Here's what's fascinating. We see our lives, you and I and all of us, through filters. Through filters that we've developed through our own self-images or through our own system of beliefs, right? What we believe to be true about ourselves and about others and about the world at large creates filters upon which we see the rest of the world. And these filters work the same way as the coffee filter. They prevent certain things from getting through. Because your subconscious mind, guys, its whole job is to make sure you don't believe you're nuts. That's what your subconscious mind is supposed to do. It's supposed to make sure that what you've decided you believe is in fact validated by what you see and experience in the world around you. So those filters now are there to do that job. They are there to let through that which is in alignment with what you believe, and to keep out that which is not in alignment with what you believe. Now, if you really understand this, you begin to internalize it. It starts to become really powerful, and you begin to understand why suddenly the world always looks hostile to you, or why it feels like no matter what you do, you can't get financially ahead, or why no matter what you try, you can't seem to lose that weight, or why you can't seem to break that particular habit or kind of behavior. It begins to make perfect sense because your subconscious mind won't let through the evidence that would disprove what you've already decided to believe, to be true about you, or about the world, or about your spouse, or about your friends, or about your church, or your faith, or your finances, or money in general, or whatever the case might be. So how do we fix it? How do we change it? And the answer is you must begin thinking differently, believing differently about those things. And the way to do that now is to practice. I know that sounds crazy, but you must practice. You must begin to read stories and consume stories and examples and proof, right, of things that happen that are in contradiction. So if you believe, for example, that the world is a hostile place, but you're always consuming the national news, that is reinforcing that day after day, because only negative news sells. Get you some books on achievement. Get you some autobiographical stories of people that have done unbelievable, amazing things, and start convincing your brain that the world is conspiring to bring good things into your world. That's how you begin to change those kinds of beliefs, right? If you believe, for example, that you're always going to be overweight, start grabbing books and stories and reading up stories and reading in health magazines and things that will begin to show you examples of people who felt the same way you did, but yet experienced dramatic change in their lives because they began to do things differently, and your belief system will start to change about what's possible for you. This is how it unfolds. And when you do this, guys, you will begin to change the filters through which you see the world. And you'll begin to see evidence to support your new, more empowering, more achieving beliefs. And that's the science behind moving ahead in an exponential way towards greater success. It takes practice, it takes hard work, but you can do it. And that's a belief you got to have. And that's the dose.